military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist.
Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Fear itself. Fear itself. Fear itself. Where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall never surrender.
My prepper brothers and sisters, you've arrived at the bunker. Grab a cup of joe, a stout tea, or maybe your favorite adult beverage. This is the prepper's place for open discussion on whatever the hell we want. Brought to you whatever the hell way we want. This is the new format of Top's Bunker. So sit down, kick back, post up, relax, and welcome to the bunker.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Military-industrial complex.
And we as a people will get to the promised land.
We will make America strong again, proud again, safe again. We will make America great again.
Preppers, survivalists, off-gridders, homesteaders, and the like. Welcome to Top's Bunker, a podcast for preppers. Leave a voicemail to get on the show, speakpipe.com/tops, or use the live message option on our Facebook group, Top's Bunker. Email us at shtf@topsbunker.com. Visit our site, topsbunker.com. Don't forget to check the show notes for our affiliate links. If you think you find something that's useful, go ahead and get it. It would really help out the show, but you know what? The clicks really matter. So go ahead and click on one of those links and check it out. All right, let's go ahead and get to it.
Stranded in a winter storm. The visit with friends had been a rare reprieve, a slice of normalcy amidst the whirlwind of work, kids, and endless responsibilities. As the laughter and conversation wound down, an alert buzzed on your phone, piercing the evening like a warning bell. Winter, storm, warning. You glanced out the window. Snowflakes drifted lazily at first, but something in your gut tightened.
We should head home,
You told your wife, already calculating the hours to reach the kids and the babysitter. The look on her face mirrored your own unease, and within minutes, you were saying your goodbyes, promising to visit again soon. By the time you filled up at the gas station, the storm had turned serious. The snow swirled chaotically, driven by a merciless northern wind. As the icy flakes pelted the windshield, you muttered,
this is going to be fun.
masking your rising dread with bravado. A glance into the back of your SUV reassured you that
The Winter Go bag that Buddy will mention a bit later on this podcast episode, and a featured link down in the show notes for all our listeners to explore and enjoy.
was there in the back seat of the SUV, and at the ready, you felt a small pang of gratitude for your own preparedness.
I am so awesome.
But that gratitude turned to tension as the interstate transformed into a battlefield of skidded vehicles. Headlights vanished into the blinding snow, and horns blared their futile warnings. After 45 agonizing minutes of standstill, you made a snap decision to exit and take your chances on back roads.
We'll just bypass this mess.
You said, trying to sound extra confident. The local roads were unfamiliar. Their twists and turns are obscured by snowdrifts and fading daylight. The SUV crept forward like a blind animal feeling its way in the storm. When you pulled over to retrieve the map from your go bag, the bitter cold bit through your coat. Then it happened. A treacherous patch of ice sent you sprawling into the pavement. The crack of your head against the door echoed in your ears, and as you clambered back into the car, dazed and bleeding, Your wife's panicked voice cut through the fog in your mind.
Oh, shit. Are you okay? I think your head is bleeding.
No, I'm fine.
You insisted, though the pounding in your skull begged to differ. Whiteout conditions descended like a shroud, erasing the world beyond the windshield. The road vanished beneath a blanket of swirling snow, and every mile stretched into eternity. Your head throbbed, and just as your grip on the wheel tightened, a blur appeared in the headlights as the frightened deer stood frozen in the middle of the road.
What the hell?
Your instinct took over. You swerved hard, tires screaming against the icy road. The SUV skidded, and in an instant, you plunged into a shallow, snow-choked creek. The impact jarred your teeth, and for a moment, everything went still, all but the hum of the engine, struggling against its wounds. Your wife's voice broke the silence, trembling.
Oh my God. Did that just happen? What do we do now?
You climbed out the window, the cold slicing through your clothes. The SUV sat at an awkward angle, front end crumpled, wheels half buried in snow and mud. The damage was bad, too bad. Even with four-wheel drive engaged, the vehicle wouldn't budge. Panic clawed at the edges of your mind as you slid back into the car. Your wife's tears mirrored the storm outside, and every second felt heavier.
We'll call for help. Everything's gonna be okay. We're fine.
You said, more to convince yourself than her, because you know all too well just how far out in the middle of nowhere you really are. The phone's screen glowed dimly, a fragile lifeline in the encroaching darkness. But as you dialed for a tow truck, a grim thought struck you. How long before they get here? And how long before the storm buries us? The howl of the wind was your only answer. Your very survival starts now. The next 24 hours will reveal your fate.
All right.
I was forcing myself not to laugh out loud while also being turned on at the same time. That voice, man. Woo!
Wasn't my voice.
No, it was definitely not y'all's voices. No.
I like it.
Oh, man.
That's the great thing about AI these days. You can have anybody's voice you want doing stuff. I didn't want to pay extra for a Morgan Freeman, but those worked.
That part where he yells out, "Oh, shit."
I like when he says, "I am so awesome."
Yeah. If I said that around Missy, she'd probably punch me in the face and be like, "Shut up with that stupidness. Why are we here?"
Yeah, but it can really happen. This type of thing happens, man. You can crash out in the middle of nowhere in a winter storm and literally be stuck nowhere.
Yeah.
And what do? That's where we start this episode and discuss what maybe a prepper survivalist, more on the side of survivalist, but preparedness is there too as well. What we would do in a situation like that.
Well, I think before we get into what we would do we need to discuss what we should have had in the first place? Because Buddy's bug out bag got brought up by that very svelte voice.
Yeah, the bug out bag in the back seat. That's right.
Yeah.
That Buddy's going to talk about later on in the podcast. Yeah.
Well, some of the stuff that I came up with is the before and the during. And whenever we do anything around here, and even when you're doing stuff in the military or in life in general, you have to backwards plan. Backwards plan starts with check the weather. Like when we're getting ready to go on a motorcycle ride, we always check the weather. And that's something that you should always do, especially during this time of year. And in the military, we have this thing that we call PCCs and PCIs. It's pre-combat checks, pre-combat inspections. It's basically a generic way of saying, here's a list of things that I need, and do I have those things? Habitually, you should always try to have your car half full to full regardless. If you start to notice that it's getting low or you're about a half a tank, go fill your car up. And then before you go, especially with them, I think that they were out, having a good time. Perhaps they had kids, had a babysitter. They should have called the babysitter and said, "Hey, we're heading home," and said, "When we get to where we're going, we'll let you know when we're there." And then, of course, did they have a get home bag? Did they listen to Buddy? Did they have cool stuff? A lot of people don't think about this, but when you're heading out and you're doing anything during the winter, you got to dress appropriately. You can't just, I would hope that his wife wasn't, in some kind of skirt and heels. I would hope that they're dressed appropriately for the cold, especially if it was even hinting at snow. But you want to have clothing that isn't too tight, has a lot of loft. You have undergarments that actually can protect your skin. You want to be able to protect your head, your ears. You want to have some good gloves, nice socks that actually have moisture wicking ability to pull the moisture away from your feet, and boots or shoes that are somewhat waterproof, but also allow the moisture from inside of your feet to get out. One of the acronyms that we use in the military is called COLD, literally COLD. It's keep your clothing clean. Try not to overheat, because once you start overheating, even during the winter, you start to sweat. That sweat gets cold and it sucks. L is for keep it loose, wear clothing loose and layered. And D is keep your clothing dry as possible. If wet clothes during the cold is a horrible place to be. And then it's the stuff that you're supposed to have with you regardless in your vehicle. A lot of people don't think about this during the winter, but carrying water in your car or your truck, you have to keep it insulated to keep it from freezing, but keep water in your vehicle. Have it handy.
Yeah, I'll second that, because we've got, both of our trucks have got about 8 water bottles in them. We keep them in there at all times. They're always in there, because you never know what you're going to be doing on property or out. You might want something. Right now, they're frozen solid.
Yeah.
You're not drinking them.
Yeah, you got to keep them insulated and keep them from freezing over. One way you can do that is put them in a small cooler, and then take like an old blanket or a towel, drop that blanket or towel down into that cooler, and just have them around the water bottles. It'll help keep them a little more insulated. And some easy to manage food, power bars, protein bars, nutrient dense snacks, stuff like that. Of course, you should always have a first aid and trauma kit with you. Have a power brick, keep it charged, have it with you as a just in case. And that's the thing about cell phones also, part of that was, being able to call out. And a lot of people don't realize this, but your 911 function on your phone will still work. A lot of the newer cars that they have these days, if something happens to your car or truck, it sends a signal to that, what's it called, that whatever that service is, that, OnStar, that kind of thing. It'll detect that you may have been in an accident, but your cell phone will still work with 911. It's an override system that it's supposed to work.
If it connects to a 911 tower.
Yes. Even if you don't have signal enough to call out to a normal phone, but you're within pinging distance of any tower, you should be able to call 911. A small shovel, a pickaxe kind of thing, a folding saw. You want to have some stuff to keep you warm. Blankets or a small sleeping system. Kitty litter and ice melt pellets are nice to have on hand, especially your ice melt pellets. You put them on your windshield and it'll help keep that stuff off of there. And it does create a film that helps prevent new snow from gathering up. It doesn't last forever, but it is a good way to get that stuff off your windshield. Plastic sheeting and tape to cover up your windows to help that draft from staying out. You need to have a light source. And for everything electronic you have in general in life, you need to have a backup power system for them. Battery operated or traditional road flares. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people these days who have never actually activated a road flare. It would be good to practice that, because a lot of people have absolutely no idea what they do. They just know that they're bright, and those suckers burn with the power of 1,000 suns. You need to have some jumper cables, possibly a portable air compressor and Fix-A-Flat, small toolkit, toe straps, toe chains. And a lot of people don't do this, and I don't know why they don't do it, but maybe it's just my way of thinking. You know, that tire changing system that comes included in your car, it's got that little rotate 500,000 times thing and it becomes your lug wrench. Get a regular 4-star lug wrench, a regular lug wrench. Just go get one, because it's so much better than trying to use that little thin wire thing to try to change your tire if you have to change the tire.
Absolutely. Well, I went to Harbor Freight and I got Rhonda an actual lift. You know, I mean, it probably cost me, it was 70, 80 bucks or whatever, but it's so much better than that stupid little scissor thing that comes with the trucks. And they never work anyway.
And a lot of the guys, like I have a big truck, but my truck is stock and I will never lift my truck. A lot of these guys out here, for some reason, I don't know why they do it, but they've got these lift kits, even though their truck is immaculately clean. They think that big tires and lift kit equal I can drive in anything. Well, they went and put that lift kit and stuff on their truck, but they still have the standard tire changing kit inside of their truck.
Isn't that funny?
It's hilarious.
You're not lifting that truck with that. No. You're going to need like a $300 or $400 jack.
Yes. You hate to see people not apply common sense, but you're like, dude, Darwin won again. And then there's a couple of things that you can do if you get stuck. Stay in your vehicle. Your vehicle is your first layer of protection from the outside. And if the car is still running, you do need to try to keep your car running periodically to get yourself warmed back up if you need to. Call 911, put your flashers on if they're not already on. Hopefully the light will still shine through if there is still fresh snow falling. And this isn't something else that a lot of people don't think about. Keep some fresh air going through your car. Because you, your wife, or whomever, you're in the car, you're already freaked out, you're burning calories because you're freaked out and you're breathing hard. Well, at some point in time, that air is going to become stagnant and it's going to become very, very low on oxygen.
Yeah, another thing with the oxygen thing, and this is something I fear because I'm not sure I would remember this, but if you're stuck in a snowstorm, you must go out and you must check your exhaust pipe to make sure it's not in the snow. Because those fumes can come back up into your...
Yes, that is literally what I was about to say.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, yeah. You get out there with that little shovel or whatever you got and clear the space behind your exhaust. Because you will not know that you are dying. And then all of a sudden you're going to figure out what's the afterlife. Because it happens so fast.
You'll fall asleep.
Yep, you will fall asleep and you will, when they find your body will be bluish purple color. That's exactly what happens. Keep your flashers on, like I said. Set up flares if you do have them. You have to make yourself as visible as possible. Put on those extra layers of clothing that you should have with you. If you've got to, stick it out for an extended period of time, drink water, eat your food. And, they're like, well, how do I get out of the car to use the bathroom? Well, you got water bottles. Be creative. If your wife cannot physically go to the bathroom in a water bottle, you may have to try to figure a way out. But a lot of people, I think in their mind, they think, well, I've crashed. I'm just going to put on these boots and I'm going to get to stepping. You may not even know where the hell you are anymore. Because once you're trapped and with, no real visuals on the outside, you can become disoriented very, very quickly. And if the storm is that bad and you've already crashed, the likelihood of somebody being on the road to help is very, very slim.
And that's including emergency vehicles and anybody that you might call. Yeah. You might even actually get through to a tow truck company and they might say to you, we're 3-4 hours behind. You're just going to have to hang on.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to try to conserve your cell phone battery? And in order to keep yourself, physically well, you need to try to move your legs, move your arms, get your blood flowing. Blood flow itself will help keep you warm. But also what you're trying to prevent is blockage in your legs and embolism or anything like that. Staying focused, stay motivated, because in that kind of situation, you can panic, you can freak out, and you'll start to feel super hopeless super fast, which, within the rules of 3, the very first one is 3 seconds without a decision. So you've got to have these things in your mind prior to doing whatever it is that you're getting ready to go do. So that's what I have.
Did you just add a rule to the rules of 3?
No, that's always been there.
I've never heard of 3 seconds without decision.
Yeah, 3 seconds without a decision, 3 minutes without breathable air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. Or 3 hours without shelter.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. So you added one, dude. You just made that up.
No, that's always been there.
It's 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without shelter, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food.
Right. But the very first 3 seconds without a decision.
That's 5. You just made a new one. That's awesome.
No,
dude.
I didn't make it up. I've read that.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard that one before. It's a first for me right there. I just learned something.
You should take credit for that, man.
No, really. I've only heard the 4. I've never heard the 5th.
Jeremy's 3 C's times.
That's fantastic. 3 seconds without indecision. I love it.
Yeah, I know that I have read it. I'm going to have to explore the Googles and figure out where I read that.
Well, you should read it before we put this out on the air.
Well, I read it years ago.
You can coin it.
Yeah, I read it years ago. Okay, well, here it is right here. 3 seconds without hope, or, 3 seconds without decision.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
There you go. You just coined it.
And then there are a couple that this particular, and this is from the survivaljournal.com. This was actually written quite some time ago. I'll have to find the date that was written. 3 seconds without hope, 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 hours without shelter, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. And this is the one that we had talked about where, a lot of people think they can go it alone.
You're about to throw a 6-1 on?
I am.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
3 months without love.
Damn.
That's some deep shit, isn't it?
That is, and it will kill you.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if this applies to everyone, but think about how bonkers someone could go without human interaction. Think about what happened during stupid COVID. I mean,
yeah, watch any season of Alone.
Oh, dude.
And you will see it in real time happen to somebody.
I work with one of the guys who won. I think it's either season 2 or season 3 of Alone.
Is that right?
Yeah. And I was like, well, what was it like? He's like, well, it sucked for a little bit. And I was like, what about your wife and kids? He's like, dude, I teach this. They're used to me being gone. I was like, oh, okay.
See, that would be my paradise, not having to deal with anybody.
Yeah. Like when I was on that cruise, trust me, it was glorious to hear absolutely nothing.
For a couple of days. Yeah. But,
I don't know, man. I do love me some silence. I do. Yeah. But that's, that's something that you really got to think about because one of my huge pet peeves, I know a lot of people, they don't understand leadership or they think, oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. But indecision absolutely drives me out of my mind. It really does.
Yep.
I mean, because good, bad, or indifferent, if we all make a decision and it's still wrong, at least we're all wrong, Make a damn decision and go with it.
Well, I'll add in indecision for myself drives me nuts. There's times where I can't decide, I got all these things to do and I can't decide what direction to go in. And I actually literally have to stop myself and breathe, take a breath and go, okay, let's prioritize how this day is going to go.
Yeah. Yeah. I get where that comes from, but I had to find this point in my life where it was like, I find a thing. If I want that thing, I'm going to do the research on that thing. And if it works out, I got that thing. If it doesn't work out, cool. I'm just going to move on to the next. Like when we're trying to figure out what to eat, it's like, okay, what do you want? This? Okay, she's having that. End of statement. Nothing follows. It's done. If you're not going to make a decision, I'm probably going to make one for you.
There's some people out there that, don't like Les Stroud. They think he's a fake. I think he's actually pretty real.
Yeah.
He'll tell you that indecision can kill you. I mean, if you sit there and you start to get into your own brain, you stop. You just literally freeze in your body and it can kill you in certain situations.
Yeah. We are literally our own worst enemies. We really are.
Yep. That can very well happen to somebody who's in this situation where they might be stuck in a vehicle in a massive winter storm, which happens everywhere around the world all the time. Not everywhere, but lots of places around the world, especially the United States, because we have so much here. We don't plan like some other country. I think that people in like Siberia, Russia, those northern areas like that, they probably are so used to it. They have everything that they need. They know how to survive in the snow and the snowstorms and things like that by themselves. They have what they need. They prepped.
Yeah.
We don't. We go out to eat and, the women might be wearing a dress and some shoes and they might forget to bring, a pair of jeans or whatever else. It's just those type of things. Oh, we're going to make it home. It's no big deal.
Yeah. And I think that's, one of the qualities of Missy that I love so much is she's a lot of bit of country and a little bit of sass. She can throw down on a dress, but her preference is one, to be comfortable, but two, to be ready. Because she's always got that mindset, you know, especially from being in the military, I might have to go do this, this, and this. So this is how I'm going to, you know, dress.
Yeah, exactly. A couple little tidbits here. You got wind chill. Okay, so what is wind chill? Wind chill temperature is how cold people and animals feel when they're outside. Wind chill is based on the rate of heat loss from exposed skin caused by wind or cold. As the wind decreases, it draws heat from your body, driving down skin temperature and eventually the internal body temperature. Think of it this way: around your body at all. A lot of people don't think about wind chill. They go, "Oh, what's it cold outside? Well, it's 31 degrees, 32. Oh, it's freezing. What's the wind chill? Well, the wind chill is 5. Well, you got to think about that because your body has 98.6 degrees. It's almost 100 degrees temperature coming off of it, and you feel that when the wind blows, it blows that little bit of heat away from your skin. And now you don't feel that anymore. Okay, now you've got to talk about hypothermia. Hypothermia is a condition that occurs when the core body temperature, which is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, drops below 95 degrees Fahrenheit or 35 degrees Celsius. This is a medical emergency. Hypothermia is the body's loss. The body loses heat faster than it can produce heat, causing dangerously low core body temperature. When the core body temperature drops, the heart and nervous system and other organs can't work as well as they usually do. Hypothermia can happen very, very fast, between 2 and 15 minutes. That's all it takes, depending on the situation. If you're dealing with water or wet or being wet or in water, you're looking at 2 to 5 minutes tops and you're gone. Mm-hmm. Without water, just out in the middle of a freezing cold and not dressed the right way, 15 minutes could kill you. So, and left untreated, hypothermia can cause the heart and respiratory system to fail and eventually lead to death. And then the last thing would be frostbite. Frostbite is a condition that occurs when the body tissue freezes due to prolonged exposure to cold temperatures. It can affect any part of the body, but it's most commonly in the extremities, like your hands, your feet, your ears, nose, lips, that sort of thing. Symptoms to look out for would be pain, redness, stinging, numbness, tingling, throbbing, your skin color turning white, grayish yellow, red, blue, purple, or brown. Your skin might feel waxy, it might swell up, and you might get blisters. Treatment is rewarming. Apply warm towels or immerse the affected area in warm water. Do not rub the area. Now, this is not and or. This all has to happen if you have frostbite. Rewarming, then medication. Take non-prescription pain relievers for the mild frostbite. Next would be bandaging. Wrap the affected area with bandages. And lastly is seek professional help. Frostbite is a serious condition that needs emergency medical care. So those are some things to think about when you are in the cold and you think, well, it's just cold, I can handle it. You might not be able to handle it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a movie, I've got it on DVD, but there's a really great movie. If anybody hasn't seen it, it's called Everest. And it's the true story of, I think there was like somewhere in the teens, 13 or 17 people died in one day. Lots of people have died on Everest. And they talk about how people will that are actually going hypothermic and get that type of situation will actually start taking their clothes off because they feel like they're burning. They feel like they're too hot.
Yep.
Fun fact, pretty much everybody, I can't say everybody, but most people that have ever died on Everest are still on Everest.
Yep.
They do not remove the bodies. So if you're climbing in Mount Everest, you are most likely going to be climbing over dozens of frozen bodies up there. There actually, videos and pictures all over the internet. You can go look if you think I'm crazy.
Yeah, there's hundreds.
The rule is if you die on Everest, they don't risk somebody's life to take you off. You die on Everest, you stay on Everest.
Yep. Yeah, and they have some of the more famous ones up there. They actually use them as landmarkers. Their jackets and their pants and all those puffy clothing that they were wearing are still brightly colored.
Right.
And they use them as landmarkers. You know, they actually...
It's kind of weird, man. Yeah. It really is weird.
And they're named after the people that died up there.
And these are professionals that know how to deal with cold.
Yep. It'll get you. Yeah, my cold weather injuries happened the first time I was in Korea. We were out in the field, and we were up in what's called the Twin Sisters, and we were doing some training in some old Korea War trenches. Temperatures started to tank, and we had the appropriate clothing. The problem was that as it got colder and colder and colder and ice started developing, everything froze over. Aircraft couldn't fly to come get us. Trucks couldn't drive to come and get us. We had switched over to what we call VB boots or Mickey Mouse boots. And you're not really supposed to move around in them a lot because they build up moisture. And when that moisture gets vapor locked inside, it'll freeze. So we just started fires, kind of hunkered down and did the best we could to stay warm. One guy lost a toe. I had to have the outside dermis of my kneecaps, part of my ears, part of my butt cheeks, and the bottom of my feet shaved off.
Damn, dude. Wow.
Yeah, it was bad. It was real bad.
That's hardcore right there.
It sucks. And now when it's cold, I feel it. I definitely feel it.
I'm just going to really quickly give you my run through of what you talked about all the different types of things to have in your vehicle and to take with you on different things. This is what I have, clothing wise, base layer, moisture wicking. Your next layer is comfort layers, which is insulation and heat capturing. The next layer on top of that would be your shell layer, like your wind and windproof stuff. And then your next layer on top of that, of course, would be a heavy, thick, water and windproof, sub-zero rated type of a coat. Now, I wear all these things when I go out in the winter. I wear these things right here in my house. Like this past week, this is what I wear. And if I need to take off the outer layer, if I'm getting too hot, I can still have the shell. If it gets even warmer, or if I feel warmer, if I feel like I'm sweating from work, I can take the shell off just for a few minutes and put it back on, release some of that moisture. So these aren't things that I talk about. These are things I do every day.
Mm-hmm.
Some headgear. I always have a ball cap. I just don't like the sun in my, if you guys see in my videos or whatever, you see I'm wearing a cap. That's just because I don't like the sun in my eyes. I have sensitive eyes. So that's what that's for. I wear a beanie on top of the ball cap to at least keep my head from losing heat. I use like a fleece or a thermal skull cap, that sort of thing, usually wool, or I'll put some of these things in the show notes as well. There's one that I like. Carhartt makes one. It's called Men's Fleece 2-in-1, which is like a beanie, but it also has ear coverings on them. Next, for my headgear, I always have my shemagh. I have a heavy winter shemagh that I keep, and I keep that for my neck, which I consider my head. And then also I can put it up over my nose and my mouth if I need to keep me, warm. And lastly would be my Ashanka, which is a Russian, you all seen them, the Russian ear flap hats, or some people call them the trapper hats. I love mine. They're stupid looking, but they're the big fluffy ones that you can put up or you can put down. But let me tell you something, you put one of those on, you're never going to take it. You're never going to not have one in wintertime.
Especially the real ones.
Oh, they're so warm. And I don't even have a real one. I've got one that was probably like $30 off of Amazon. I'll post it in the show notes, and it's well worth it, man.
Yeah.
You will feel so happy in cold weather if you're wearing one of those things. You'll feel kind of stupid because they look weird, and then I would go with footwear. You definitely want to have some boots. You're going to need waterproof, heavily insulated. The ones I have are Camix, which are a lower budget. Camix Men Nations Plus winter boots, one I carry. I absolutely love them. They cost about $75. They are way cheaper than some of the big brands that are like $200-$300. But I'm going to tell you something. My feet are toasty warm. Anytime I am out I can stay out for hours in my gear and I don't feel any cold. So you don't have to spend you can if you want to. Yours might last, 5-6 years longer than mine. It's possible, but I've had mine for 4 or 5 years now and they're in perfect condition. And also look for merino wool. It's Marino. Merino wool is really good for the winter. And full for socks and things like that. You want to go full calf length so they cover your, where your boots are. You don't want to have short socks with boots on or high boots, Carhartt makes some pretty good ones. I like Realtree. Realtree makes some, their men's merino boot socks, which I also use. All this stuff is stuff that I use every single day. And lastly, I would say something that I carry around with me in the wintertime, always in my truck or everywhere, is a wool blanket. I've got a couple of them. I like the big ones that are like, 5x7 or body size, man size. 4.5 pounds is a good weight for a wool blanket. There are some brands like Arcturus, which I have, and it's very good. It's a lower budget one. I think they cost like around $20 for a good one. Woolly Mammoth has one that's an extra large merino wool blanket for camping and things like that. Really, really nice to have as well. That's some of the gear that I have. I actually use all the time, and it actually works for me. Buddy, talk to me about what you got going on.
All right. Well,
and make it quick because we're running out of time, dude. We didn't save much time for you.
Well, all right.
Sorry,
We can wrap this up now. I don't really have much. You guys covered everything.
Or we can do this.
Stranded in a winter storm.
I like it.
I want to have Buddy reread that whole thing, but after like a fifth of scotch. I want to.
Yeah,
these two here people were running out and doing this dumb stuff.
These two dumb shit was in the car.
I am so awesome.
Oh man! All right, so there's only a few things I can add, and my winter truck setup. I have a 27-liter tote that's in the back seat, and I don't travel with very many people in there, so I can get away with this. But my blankets are in there. Pretty much everything's in there, along with a small bug out bag in case, or a get home bag. Basically, if I need to get out and hoof it, then I can take, the things I really necessarily need at that point to go. But I have everything in there. And if it's a warmer day where there's no, threat of a winter storm coming in, I can take it out and stick it in the garage and everything's good. But some of the things not mentioned that I would put in there, or I have in mind, is I have my little Baofeng radio, and I have programmed in all the emergency channels, the NOAA, the FM channels that will do the weather, a couple repeaters in there, have a couple longer antennas where I can reach out there. So,
and that reminds me, if I'm just going to stop you real quick, I got the double pack of the Baofengs, the 8-watt ones. Yeah. And I need you guys to help me out with those this week, because I think Rhonda's going to Texas this weekend, and in wintertime, I want her to be absolutely prepped. So I want her to at least take one of those.
Yeah, if you
want to help me set those up.
If you want to mail them to us, we can program them for you and send them back.
Too late now; they won't get there in time.
Well, she's coming right through where we're at, so.
You can toss it out there. Just
have her throw it out on I-35 somewhere, and I'll pick them up.
If you want, we can do a video call and just kind of talk you through it.
Yeah.
We'll do that. Yeah.
So, moving right along.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
So I would have a emergency whistle in the bag. You never know if you're into.
Did you say whistle?
Whistle.
I think you said whistle.
I think maybe I did hit the booze a little.
You had a moment.
Yeah. So I have emergency. My false teeth was falling out. Have emergency whistle with you, just in case you have to do. There might be somebody that they saw. You call in a 911 and you get off the road, and they're looking for you, and you actually see lights or hear people, and they can't hear you. So whistle, man, I said it again. Whistle gets out there a little further and than what your voice might, especially if you're injured. So emergency whistle is good to have. A reflective vest, and I hate reflective vests because of the military, but you can throw one of those on top of your actual antenna for your car truck, and it sticks up a little taller, overneath the top to where they can actually see that. And everybody knows what a
damn good idea, man. That is, I've not heard of that one. That's a great idea. Like making a flag.
Yeah, you're making a flag, or you can actually wear, if you have to go hoof it, you can put it on and wear it. That way somebody doesn't run you over.
You can pick those up super cheap, man. Pennies on the dollar, like Walmart and places like that.
Yeah. Another cool thing to have some hand warmers. And they have these blankets out now that are like hand warmers. As soon as you open up that bag and you take them out, it starts to warm up. So heat activates as you go. So that's not a bad thing to have with you. Some hand warmers with that blanket in case you need it for emergency. So also have a waterproof tarp just in case you might have to get out and hoof it or whatever. So when you're cold, it's not that big a deal. When you're wet, not that big a deal. But when you're cold and wet, that's misery right there. So a waterproof tarp is going to maybe help you keep from getting wet. Also, it's going to help keep any type of warm air from dissipating. You're talking about hypothermia.
I saw a wool blanket that has a waterproofed side and a wool side, and on the waterproof side there is actually a reflective surface that aims towards the wool side. It's very expensive. It was like $80, man. I'm not going to buy it, but that would be nice to have.
I just bought one.
Did you really?
Yeah, I spent the money on it because it's going to last forever. And it also is going to, as far as my kit goes, I can dump a lot of other things with just that, you know. And then a tea candle. You can buy 80 of them for like 20 cents at the dollar store or whatever.
Tea lights.
Tea lights. Yeah, tea light candles or whatever they're called. That with some waterproof matches or, always have a couple lighters with you. They put out a lot of heat. And so they're good. You can stick them in your pocket if you need to get underneath your tarp with that, light it up. You're going to warm up real quick. One thing people don't think about is what they might do in this kind of situation is if they take any kind of medications. If you have a lot of anxiety, and you get in these situations without having a panic attack and getting all crazy, you might pop a cup of Valium or something, whatever it may be, or you might have a condition where you might need to take some insulin. You might need some things. So go ahead and take your medications with you. Have a small dosage or a small supply of them in your kit, just so you'll, not freak out there. It just helps your survival.
Yeah, they make those little tiny alcohol bottles. Those are pretty cool too. I like those.
Yeah. Yeah, you can burn those too.
That is a good point. The only problem with those is that you can actually get hypothermia faster by being drunk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. Very true. Very true.
Thins your blood out.
Yep. Also, man, something. It's just I'm kind of like this anyhow. I take extra socks with me. I have extra clothing, socks, hats, gloves. I have watch caps. I have extra in my truck. You never know who's driving with you. They're my kit. And there might be somebody there with you that, you pick up and, you go eat lunch and all of a sudden snowstorm happens and bam, what are you going to do? Well, you're dressed for it and you're prepared because you got buddy's bug out bag in there, but they don't have one. So, how are you going to, hey, you're on your own now, dude. I'm sorry.
Kick them out. Hit the road, man.
You go left, I'll go right. How about that? Okay, get out. No, anyhow, you just have extra gear just in case you have anybody else in there. Plus, if you get wet, you can pull out your extra watch cap or your boots, socks, whatever it may be, because like I said before, being wet and cold is misery. And then, just have a great attitude. Why not, have a good attitude. You could have that survival mindset to where you're going to fight to survive.
Yeah.
A lot of people just give up hope. And I mean, if you can think through any problem and problem solve, you're going to survive 9 times out of 10, and that's the one thing in our training with Cloverleaf Precision, our training is we do teach people to free think. Here's the problem. We're going to give you some tips to get through it, but we want you to think through the problem and solve your own problem because we're not going to be there for you to help you out when shit hits a fan or, when it goes down. So, hey, you need to be able to think through these things, remember the tips you have, but hopefully you're prepared enough to where you just execute,
We may really want to, and we probably will call an emergency services, some type of first responder, because that's what they're there for. But you have to understand that in a lot of cases, they can't get to you. They won't be able to get to you. And even if they can, they might not be able to get to you on time. So you should still not depend on it. You should try and call 911 and say, hey, I'm in trouble. You should try to call the police or whoever it is, some type of an authority, but you can't depend on it. That's the what we're talking about. That's the big point of being a prepper survivalist, being that which is prepared, is to depend on your own gear and abilities and training in case you can't get help from somebody else.
Yeah. Expect to self-recover because, you can't depend on if you went into the, just thinking about this, you went into the ditch because the roads are slick. How many other people have done that? Is now the fire department and the police force and the county sheriffs. I mean, how many people are they attending to? and how long is it going to take for them to get to you? So, you know, the best strategy to have, and it's all about strategy of survival, you know, is to get through it yourself and expect to do it yourself. So, and it falls back on training and preparation, man. And Jeremy mentioned earlier, you know.
Yeah, and I will also, I forgot to mention having the space blankets, you know, the real thin reflective space blankets are really handy. A lot of people don't realize this when they start to shiver. It's a natural reaction of the body to rewarm itself. It's trying to generate movement within the body in order to create an internal reignition of heat.
It is your signal that your core body temperature has dropped. Yep. Your body's telling you that.
Yep. Yep. And if you are wrapped up in one of those, if you wrap yourself up like a shiny burrito and you're underneath that, you will feel the difference in a very short amount of time with one of those space blankets on.
Yep.
You absolutely will.
Good points.
One more point, man. If you know the signs and symptoms of these things we mentioned earlier, and there's plenty more other cold weather injuries. Once you learn the signs and symptoms of them, and then, you know, if you rationally think through it, it's like, okay, you know what? My body temperature's down. Okay. I'm showing the symptoms of this. How am I going to reverse it? What do I need to do now? So it's just all education and training. So go out and get it.
Yep. And you would never catch me out at night in any kind of storm like that. Hell no.
Not going to catch you outside.
It really is best to stay home in a situation.
I don't even like driving at night. I can't see like that anymore, you know?
But in our scenario,
stranded in a winter storm.
It's, you know, it all started because the storm happened while they were out. Now, they didn't check the weather like we would, and they didn't know that they would be
stranded in a winter storm.
I need that sound clip, and I'm gonna get up on Missy and play it in her ear and be like, "Stranded? Are we stranded? Hell yeah!"
I'll send you the file.
Hey, you need to do a redneck version of that too.
Oh my gosh, man!
Oh, let me tell you something. With the CapCut that I'm using, there's like 300 different voices you can use.
It's got to have a hillbilly voice.
There's hillbilly, there's gay, there's there's everything you can think of. Every kind of person that's out there. They don't leave anybody out, man. They're not going to discriminate at all.
You need to find the gay hillbilly.
All right, guys, we have gone way over. So we're done. We are done.
My prepper brothers and sisters, winter can be unpredictable, but with a little preparation, you can face it with confidence. Take the time now to stock up on supplies and prepare your world for whatever the season might bring. Remember, readiness isn't just about responding to challenges. It's about giving yourself peace of mind so you can truly enjoy the winter season. Stay prepped, stay happy. Thanks for listening, and good night.